The Rockets followed the 52-win breakthrough with a summer sprint, hitting the exact pressure points that held them back while stacking depth like it's a Costco run.
They have numbers. Şengün to Thompson, up top to Jabari Smith Jr.
So what should we expect in 2026? And is this group actually good enough to hold the trophy? Last year, they surprised a lot of people, me included. An above-average offense coupled with a top-5 defense landed them the West's 2 seed.
Into a diving Şengün. That's good.
Then came a 7-game rock fight with the Warriors that slipped away. But before we start, if you love basketball and you're one of the 90% who watch without subscribing, it's time to join the NBA Inside family. Click it and let's live this season together. Personnel, personnel, personnel. Thompson, Josh Okogie, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr. A wing room full of players who can credibly guard up or down and take the first punch from any star. In the middle, Alperen Şengün leveled up. Angles, hands, strength, turning drives into detours. He's not a trampoline at the rim, but those wings are. They meet you above the square. And when they wanted more size, Şengün at the 4 with Steven Adams at the 5 meant no layups wasn't a slogan. It was a zoning law. Even the smallest guy in the rotation, Fred VanVleet, was the smartest defender on the floor. There just weren't clean places to attack. On offense, they were the NBA's weirdest good team. If you plotted how well you shoot versus how efficient you are, the Rockets sat in the corner labeled "Understand the assignment differently." Why? They obliterated the possession game. Offensive boards? Comical. Nearly 15 a night, the best since 2003. Turnovers? Kept quiet. So despite mediocre pure shooting, they took more shots than you, which, shocker, tends to help the scoreboard. The Warriors, though, found a loose thread. Houston didn't have enough trustworthy shooters in the playoff rotation. Draymond and Jimmy played free safety, shut down the rim, dared jumpers, and Houston couldn't summon the shot making to break the shell. Motion didn't bail them out either, they were last in passes per game. So when the half-court turned into concrete late, the offense went cold. Cue the summer. First phone call, Kevin Durant. Sponsor-style interlude energy aside, that's the blunt instrument for "we need buckets." Let's start with the thing he's famous for, that face-up 15 to 19-footer you've seen in your nightmares. Even at 37, he's coming off a season where he feasted at the rim, cooked from mid-range, and drilled threes. All elite percentile stuff. He doesn't need a runway to get to his spots. Curls, floppy, pin downs, hit him and it's cash. That alone nudges Houston toward more motion. Put the ball at the elbows with Şengün or Adams, run split action, let Durant curl into air. A little off-ball choreography helps everyone. Amen and Tari thrive on the move, and both bigs can dime out of the high post. Pick and roll, KD doesn't spam it like 5 years ago, but when he calls a screen, bigs have to choose between the pull-up you can't contest and the pocket pass he's still sneaky good at. Mostly though, it's isolation therapy. Live dribble, mid-post face-ups, or those back-to-basket bump fadeaways you can defend perfectly and still lose. Remember the no go-to-action critique? KD solo clears that obstacle. Volume plus efficiency and ISO is basically his brand. Park him weak side and he becomes a 43% catch-and-shoot threat with instant reads against hard closeouts, which stretches a defense like taffy. Add Dorian Finney-Smith to that mix and the geometry gets fun. He's coming off a year around 41% on 5 threes a game. KD and DFS spacing up front unclogs driving lanes for Amen, who's a laser as a kick-out passer and, most crucially, gives Şengün breathing room to operate in the post. Ask 10 Rockets fans where Alpi's at his best and 9 say back to the basket, seeing the floor like a point center. With real shooters stationed, you can run offense through him without a traffic jam. If KD gets to a spot as option A, Alpi Hub in the post becomes option B. There is a catch. Initiators. KD is a finisher by preference. He doesn't want to dribble through a press and organize every trip. Şengün's a read maker, but he's still a big. You want him catching an advantage, not breaking pressure for 24 minutes. That's where Fred mattered most, and where the script flipped with his ACL tear. VanVleet wasn't just a guard, he was turnover insurance. Touch time and low mistakes is a rare combo, and Houston's possession math leaned on it. With him, they live near the league's best turnover rates. Without him, that climbs into the teens and the efficiency tax shows up on your bill. So, who steers the car? Pass 1. Alperen Thompson makes the leap. He's flashed the right reads once he gets downhill. Now it's about getting the team organized before the drive, handling pressure, and creating pace-controlled half-court offense. That's a different skill than sprinting in transition. If he shortens the learning curve, a lot of problems evaporate. Pass 2. Reed Shepherd is ahead of schedule. The ideal version of Reed is precisely what the doctor ordered. Steady handle, instant decisions, elite spacing. The rookie reality might be bumpy, size, pop, and on-ball creation against playoff defenses will test him, but if he hits early, it raises the ceiling. If neither pops by mid-season, the third pass is pragmatic. Call around. They've got prospects and picks, a stabilizer like Tyus Jones, a jumbo organizer like Spencer Dinwiddie, a table setter like Peyton Pritchard, even the teach the kids version of Chris Paul. Any of those archetypes eats innings and keeps the turnover dam from breaking. One smart adult guard can make KD's life easier and feed Şengün in his sweet spots. What about the stuff they lost? Jalen Green's downhill gear is gone, which trims rim pressure. He and Fred also carried nearly all of the pull-up 3 volume, about 9 attempts per game combined. Between trading out Green, moving Cam Whitmore, and Fred's injury, that pull-up element basically evaporated. KD can take 1 or 2 a night, but he's not a high-volume, off-the-bounce bomber anymore. That means certain offensive lanes, quick strike threes off high pick and roll won't be there at the same clip. You're leaning more into movement, post hubs, and isolation shot making. And you know what? That can be enough if the other pillars hold. Offensive boards will still roar, Adams says high. Size and athleticism across positions, upgraded. Spot shooting, better. If they add a little motion and keep giveaways under control, the offense grades out above average. That's all they need because the defense is already a brick wall. Even after the trades, the identity remains. Switchable wings, real rim deterrence, and almost no soft spots to poke. They shipped out one elite on-ball defender, but they also dealt the 2 weakest rotation defenders and replaced them with a near 7-footer who can protect the rim and survive switches. Durant isn't prime KD laterally, but his length solves a lot, plus a sturdy 3-4 who defends up and down in DFS. Toss in Josh Okogie's chaos defense on the perimeter and Clint Capella's spot minutes anchoring the backline, and you've got layers of protection. Outside of Reed and Aaron Holiday, basically everyone in the rotation is a vertical contest threat. If they roll with a jumbo first 5, you might be looking at the tallest opening lineup anyone's ever trotted out. Even if they don't, the average length, strength, stride combo is ridiculous. So where does that leave the ceiling? Without Fred, the half-court orchestration and pull-up shooting take a hit. That probably caps the offense in the slightly above average band. Combined with a top 5 defense, that's a very high floor. Think home court in the first round high. But the path to title favorite requires either a men accelerating, Reed arriving, or a vet point guard landing in Houston. Before the injury, this looked like a 55-win, credible champion profile. Now, they're the dark horse everyone dreads drawing, with a tougher time matching OKC's pace and poise or Denver's Jokic problem in a conference finals. But if they're not fully ready today, they're a breath away. Sometimes development is the trade. Reed becomes a day-one solution. Amen hits all-star strides. Şengün edges into all-NBA talk. Amen's already giving them 14.1, 8.2, and 3.8 a night, with 35.3% from deep. Jabari sitting near a 55.4 true shooting mark since early 2025. Sometimes the deadline is the cheat code. Grab a caretaker guard and a slasher who lives at the rim. And remember the ages we're talking about. A 21-year-old, 2 22-year-olds, a 23-year-old, and a 24-year-old. All core pieces with runway. Add a future Hall of Fame shot maker who bends every defense, plus a wing room that swallows airspace, and you get a team that can win now now without mortgaging later. So are they good enough to win a championship in 2026? If Amen's leap is real, or if the front office drops in one steady hand at point, they've got the defense, the size, and the late clock shot making to make it a conversation. If those things lag, they'll still be the matchup nobody wants, living in the second round with the tools to knock off a favorite. Either way, don't blink. The blueprint is loud. Overwhelm the glass, protect the rim, stretch you thin with length, and let KD and Alpi write fourth quarter paragraphs. That story tends to end well. Now let's stretch the lens and talk about how this thing actually looks night to night. Because rotations win months and months win banners. Who's the closing five? Version A is the big mean lineup. Amen, Okogie, KD, DFS, Şengün. That group screams defense and boards while trusting KD or Alpi for half-court creation. Version B leans skill. Reed, Amen, KD, Jabari, Şengün, trading some point-of-attack nastiness for spacing and snap passing. Version C is the duct tape special for series that need chaos. Amen, Okogie, DFS, KD, Adams, throttle second shots, win the whistle war, and make every possession feel like a scrum under a rugby pile. The beauty is optionality. Houston can pick your weakness like a lock. Offensively, circle 3 pet actions that should be Houston's "we need a bucket" buttons. First, elbow split with Şengün. KD and a guard crossing like scissors. If the switch is late, it's a catch and shoot. And if help comes, it's a handoff into a downhill lane. Second, Spain pick and roll featuring Amen as the delivery man, Şengün as the roller, and KD as the back screener popping to daylight. Defenses choose which fire they want to walk into. Third, delay 5 out with KD as the trigger, walk it up, hit the trail, dribble handoff into a ghost screen. If the big drops, KD fires. If they switch, slip to Alpi on the short roll and let him conduct. One under-the-radar swing piece, Jabari Smith Jr. If he lives at 38 to 40% on high-volume corner and slot threes while defending fours without help, he unlocks lineups where Houston has two 6'10+ shooters next to Alpi. That bends the floor in ways last year's team couldn't simulate. Another, Tari Eason's health. His energy is Red Bull in wing form. He manufactures extra possessions with deflections and second jumps you can't coach. In a 7-game series, 2 or 3 of those "how did he get that" plays swing a game, and swinging a game swings a series. Durability always lurks. KD's minute profile should be treated like a vintage car. Warm it up, don't redline in January, and schedule the oil changes. Adams is a use responsibly sticker too. Pick your battering ram nights. The staff can buy rest with Reed Amen double guard minutes and DFS at the 4 lineups that still hold defensively. If they keep the nightly burden sane, the spring fuel light stays off. Culture check matters because defense that travels usually comes from buy-in. This group's identity, tough, long, a little nasty on the glass, has to be the baseline, not a playoff-only cosplay. If the offense toggles from sticky to snappy by all-star break, more 0.5 decisions, early entries to Alpi, purposeful pace when KD sits, then the regular season will feel less like a bench press and more like a rhythm drill. Think fewer hero ball Tuesdays and more connect the dots Saturdays. And financially, the Rockets' score is locked in. Durant at $54.7 million, Şengün at $33.9 million, VanVleet at $24 million, Thompson at $9.7 million, and Jabari Smith Jr. at $12.35 million. That's the cost of contention.